Hello, Zach here, and I have another matchup. And firstly, I want to apologise. I didn't bring out a game or a video yesterday because I had a lot of work to do, and I was just really tired in the evening, and I just didn't feel up to it. And I don't really want to be commentating when, um, well, I don't want to be commentating when I'm tired because it won't sound as good. But I've just woke up, I'm very fresh, and I'm feeling up for this game. Okay, so I'm currently spectating It's Over 9000 now. It's Over 9000 is another account for the player Daut. Daut is I think he's the top player on Vubly at the moment. If not, then he is an extremely good player anyway. Against the Viper, or Viper as I'll call him, and he is a good player as well. And they're both playing as Mayans, and I decided to do something a little bit different in this video. Decided to turn the Fog of War on and spectate the player throughout the whole game with Fog of War, so we can see what the player is seeing and really look kind of in depth at what the player is doing. Daut, obviously being one of the best players on Vubly, is a good player to watch. So currently, as usual at the start of the game, just scouting, so I will fast forward slowly, or fast forward a little bit on this, just so we can get the boring bits out of the way. Yes, not really much going on with me at the moment. Just the usual stuff. I've been doing a bit of work, web design work, which has been keeping me busy as well. So I do apologise if I haven't been able to bring out videos as often as you'd like. But as I said when I brought out the video schedule, I'll try and stick to it as much as I can. But please don't expect me to bring out videos every day. Okay, so Daut has now found his boar and a few sheep as well. He's using his sheep to scout with, and another boar over here. So as you can see, he's got good map coverage already. The map is coastal. I haven't said that already. The map is coastal, which means that there's probably going to be a lot of water play. As players usually see control over the water as a very high priority to them. I'm not quite sure why that is, because although having control of the water does give you the opportunity to land in your opponent's base, this is quite an open map anyway, so it's quite hard for the players to wall off. So a ground attack would be a possibility regardless. Whether or not they're just worried about being sniped or attacked from the edge of the water, I'm not quite sure. But players do seem to think that water control is extremely important. Obviously, being on a coastal map, you can fish, and fishing provides a very large income, or a very good income of food. So that's one reason to get boats on the water, but to go so heavily into not fishing ships, warships, I'm not too sure. Of course, it's nice to be able to take out your opponent's warships. Daut moving over here, so it looks like he's going to build a dock right there. Probably a little bit early with sending that villager over, but there we go. Okay, so he's just finishing off his sheep, well, getting through his sheep at the moment, and he's gone for a little scout to see if he can find a viper. Quite heavily, as you can see, into wood already. Now, normally when we watch pro players play, they focus fully on food, right the way up to about 18 villagers before they even get any villagers on wood, and that's usually because they're trying to get to the fuelage as fast as humanly possible. Of course, now he's gone very heavily into wood, means he's going to be getting some fishing boats out, and he's doing exactly that. Luring this boar as well now, and not bad timing, I would say. And that's another thing that these pro players are very good at. They think very much ahead. He knows this boar is here, so he thought, well, I'll build my dock here, and on the way back, I will lure the boar. And think how much time that saved. That means he's not had to send another villager over there to go and lure it. He's lured it on the way back. And this forward thinking that these players have, and this forward thinking that these players use, greatly helps them in a gameplay, because they think ahead and they think what's going to be coming around the corner, and it really optimizes their play. So Daut now quite heavily into wood, as I said. He's producing fishing ships, or fishing boats, sorry, from the dock, and that will help him to get a nice food boost. Of course, the Viper is probably doing exactly the same, and we can't see because that's the idea of this little game here. Okay, so as you can see, the Viper has actually got two boars there as well, so he's finishing off his boars, and a bit of scouting action going on for Daut. Found his wood camp, but really early harassment isn't so much an option because they advance slightly later on water maps, because they do tend to go for more wood at the start so they can get some fishing ships out and gain a boost whilst they're advancing to the feudal age and they can't produce any more villagers. Another boar now coming in for Daut. As you can see, that's a bit slower than the Viper, so the Viper's probably gone more heavily into food early game. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Viper does advance first. Now, it might be surprising, but really, the speed at which the boar provide food can really help. It does add a massive advantage, and a massive food increase as well. I don't know whether he's going to go for any deer. He's got a deer patch here, and down here. So if you put a mill here, then he would have quite a lot of deer there as well. But for the time being, he's going heavily into wood. As you can see, that's 10 villagers there on wood for Daut, and another 4 down here. So he's very sparse on food at the time being. He thinks though that, well, probably thinks that these villagers would be able to provide enough food here to advance up to the feudal age. And as you can see, 28 villagers, well, 28 population, 27 villagers right now. And usually on an Arabia map, we see the players advancing around 22. But with 28 population, that's obviously a lot higher. Contributed to the fact that he's got this dock, which has provided him with an extra 4 population so far, and no doubt some more as well. He'll be able to produce ships, of course, the whole time he's advancing. 500 food now, going to advance the feudal age, and these villagers finishing up this boar and 1 sheep left for Daut as well. Second lumber camp coming up here, and that's 10 villagers there, another few there, and more here, and he's moving all of these over to wood as well, and in fact all of these as well, so he's gone fully into wood now. And of course wood is extremely important on a water map if you are going for the water control. Of course that's going to allow him to get another fishing more fishing boats out. He's going to need another dock as well, of course. Another dock will be able to let him produce more water units, or boats rather, whatever you'd like to call them. And he's also going gold because the galleys cost gold, so it's a pretty standard build for a water-based map. Well, I wouldn't say it was water-based, because obviously the majority of the map is land, so we'll see where he goes with it. Of course, he's going heavily into wood and gold right now, which would suggest that he's going fishing ships all the way up, and then once he's got once he's got some fishing ships out, he'll go to galleys. See what he's doing here. Seems a bit laggy. I might have to just try and sort that out. 1 second. And we're back. Okay, so a little bit of a tuffle here between the Eagle Warriors. Daut managing to cause Viper to run away. Just advancing up to the feudal age now, and I believe Viper got there first. I didn't actually pay attention to that because I was too busy gassing. Okay, so as we can see there, Galli's coming straight out for Daut. So he's going to try and get some water control where he can. He's found the docks of Viper. He's also managed to take his Eagle Warrior out with 2 HP left on his. Very close indeed. He's found his docks as well, so he knows he's going to be around this side. Fishing ships there for Viper as well, and as has Daut. Okay, so getting up some researches now. Depending on the strategy that the players decide to use, when they get researches, can change the game quite a lot, really. So a lot of players tend not to go for the researches to get into the Castle Age and focus, because they don't have so many villagers until the Castle Age. They try and get more villagers out because it's more effective and more cost efficient than going for the upgrades. Of course, when he's got so many villagers gathering wood, then getting the upgrade would actually make it worthwhile. Of course, if you only had 8 or 9 villagers collecting wood at this stage of the game, then it would probably be more effective to get a couple of villagers out onto wood rather than getting the upgrade at the lumber camp. So choosing when to get your upgrades is very important. He probably won't get any mining upgrades for the time being, as he doesn't really have enough villagers mining gold at the moment. Still producing more galleys, and he's got 2 out already. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Viper is on a similar sort of level with the water. However, Daut has gone forwards with 3 villagers, and he has put an archery range and a house right there. Now, about sending your villagers forwards. Um, Basically, when you send your villagers forwards to create a forward base or something along those lines, or to build away from your base, it's always important to keep them very busy. Don't let them idle around. So once they produced this or built this archery range, he got them then to build a house because he needed some more population, and these villagers were already idle, rather than going back to his base and building a house. And then he's using them constantly. Look, he's got one here producing an archery range, and he's very cleverly here going for a watchtower. A little bit of a tuffle on the water, but quickly over to here, building a watchtower here. Now, if you ask me, that's almost a genius. Um, that is such a good placement. I mean, he's seen that that is a very large gold pile there. He's seen the lumber camp here. He knows that there's going to be a lot of villagers around this area. And once that watchtower goes up, he's going to be able to garrison villagers in there and try and do some economic damage to Viper over here. Back on the water then, Daut is outnumbering Viper, 2 very low HP ships there for Viper, and 2 full HP ships there for Daut, even though he lost 1. So he's done a very good job there of weakening these, and Viper forced to retreat. Now I'm just keeping an eye on this watchtower because this is such a good placement. This is what I mean, forward thinking. He's just assumed that there's going to be villagers here, and I bet there will be. There we go, look at all those! Garrisoning straight in there. Well, he's not garrisoning there. Oh, he is garrisoning now. And look at that, he's able to pick off, or try and pick off, all these villagers over here. And those villagers being forced to move, retreat. And of course, that's affecting the Viper's economy, because now they've got to go and rebuild up somewhere else. It looks to me like he has another lumber camp here, because these trees are chopped. But he's forced him off of this gold pile, and he's now going to have to go and build another mining camp, and send his villagers elsewhere. Back on the water, the Viper has regained control, Daut being forced to retreat, but he has another 2 galleys on the way. Of course, we don't know what the Viper has, because we still have Fog of War on. He could have a lot more for all we know. So, now we've got Daut, once again, keeping his villagers busy, building a blacksmith here, couple of archery ranges producing archers as well. So it looks like he's trying to transition to a land. Using these villagers to punch through the palisade, it makes perfect sense, and it's very, very important to keep your villagers busy once they're at the front line, because that's 3 villagers that could be collecting resources, so you have to make good use of them, otherwise they're pretty much wasted. Now, Daut is doing a very good job here. Looks to me like he's gained a good control over the water. He's still got galleys on the way. Temporary block there on population, but he's got a house going up right there. And using these villagers here to punch through. So he's going for a water assault, try and take out some fishing boats there. He might be able to get one.